Shalom, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm excited to be joined by my friend and business partner, Mr. Michael Vincent, Mr. Podcaster Extraordinaire, President of OPT USA.
Yes, sir.
He and I are working together on fuel and emissions reductions with net savings, plastics waste reduction, recycling with cost savings. So it's a fun win-win scenario.
It is. It's exciting to be doing something that I'm so passionate about because, you know, it's kind of true what they say. Do something you love and you don't work a day in your life. I work, as you do, probably 14 to 16 hours a day, which had I been doing it in one of my previous jobs, it would have really sucked. But this I'm excited about because it is something I really believe in getting done. Not that I don't think logistics and everything were important. They're extremely, extremely important. I just needed something more to do in logistics. And this is it. I love it, brother. I love it. I got a trivia question for you. Question for you.
Okay.
How much longer does a naked mole rat live than regular mice or a regular rat?
That is a good one. I'm going to say 30% longer.
10x.
10x.
10x. A naked mole rat can live 41 years, and they don't get cancer. They don't get cardiovascular diseases. They don't get inflammation in their joints as they live. The reason I bring this up, I just read an article. University of Rochester scientists have changed a mouse's gene to duplicate that of a naked mole rat, and
really?
they think they can do that for humans. So get ready for your 700-year lifespan, bro.
Wow. I don't know if I want to live 700 years.
Well, that's my point. Unless people start using CyberFuels all the time, I'm not living 700 years. Forget it.
No. There's too many things that can get you.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, that's very interesting. Well, our big topic for today is methane rocket launch facility seen from space.
Right.
So you shared a couple of things with me. First one is from futurism.com, and it's about Jeff Bezos and his Blue Origin company.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because they have this carbon mapper on the International Space Station, right? New technology that's been deployed. They're actually able to see methane clouds and emissions on Earth.
Yeah, we talked about this when we were talking about the oil fields and stuff.
Yes, yeah. Was it Turkmenistan or Uzbekistan?
Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan. It was a Stan. Stan was doing it for sure.
Right.
No offense to the people in the stands, but it was one of those over there. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So this one mapped out that they're using about 1.5 metric tons of methane spewing out of the facility per hour, appearing as a conspicuous cloud on its website's map. So very interesting.
And you know that's serious because it's metric tons. That means there's an extra N and there's an E in that tons, and that means 200 extra pounds. So it's 2,200 pounds per ton, TUNNES. And,
right.
You know, the thing is this, how many more are we going to see? Was this like, I think it was a constant, like, per hour thing, right? And this wasn't because they were firing off engines or anything like that. The study looking into this was just transfer of fuel that's making that happen. Right? So like you're standing at a gas station and you're tossing gas in your tank and you see those little, ripples in the air. That's right. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. In the case of those oil field locations, they were just flaming off methane.
Well, they weren't flaming it. They were just venting. They weren't doing the flame.
Venting it off.
Because they used to call it they would flare it, right? And then people got mad because they were flaring it, which you can see what they're doing and it burns, and so you can see it, so it's worse. Now, but venting is even worse because you're just putting the straight up methane into the air, which is like 100 times, I don't know what it is, but it's like way worse than CO2 emissions, right?
Yes, it's substantially worse than CO2. Yeah, absolutely.
Unbelievable.
So, they were just measuring a certain time period. And, like you said, it wasn't like they were launching, a bunch of rockets off at one time. It's just the transfer of the of the material around the facility,
Yeah,
basically.
and we've talked about that before, and you can read that a lot about green hydrogen and green this and green that, whatever it happens to be. The dangers are, I mean, not only we're dealing with a new fuel, right? So there's different energy densities and that type of stuff, but transferring the stuff from one place to another becomes tricky, and it's not just through a pipeline. People think, well, you're just running it from Canada down a pipeline to the Louisiana coast, like oil or whatever it happens to be, that we keep arguing over. It's the transfer points that are the issue, right?
Right, right. Absolutely. They're losing it into the air. So,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I read another stat on futurism. The energy industry emits about 135 million tons of the same methane as of 2022. So, relatively speaking, this amount of methane is not that much. However, if you think of every company that's transferring this stuff around,
And that's the point. It is a great point. And, an ancillary but important article to this is one of the biggest polluters are backyard grills.
yeah,
And it's
I can
not my
see
12-hour brisket smoke. You know what I mean? Or 12-hour pork butt smoke. It's the 40,000 of them that are happening, in this county every weekend in Tennessee, right?
right, right, absolutely. You and I need to come up with some technology that'll capture that and
Yeah.
use it, right? Capture it and use it somewhere.
Well, I love it. Maybe we could put like almost like a George Foreman grill on our Class 8, and you could like smoke ribs and power your diesel your Peter at the same time. Your Peterbilt, a Peterbilt smoker or something, or I don't know, the new
Absolutely.
Cascadia pellet smoker.
Right. You and I are always talking about circularity, right?
That's right.
Capture it, use it some way, and don't just
Some
emit it
way.
up into the atmosphere. I mean,
Well, I mean, they're capturing the carbon emissions and stuff like that, and producing other products out of it. They're producing other chemicals out of it, and certain things like that, et cetera. I talked to Deborah Dull of the Circular Supply Chain Network, and there's scientists that are taking carbon emissions and they're creating, food. And there's like it's crazy the things that the side. We'll get there, man. We'll get there, brother.
absolutely. It's an exciting time. It's an exciting world. There's a lot of interesting opportunities and things going on in this space for sure. So,
Man.
on the subject of space, I love talking about space. I'm a big
Okay.
Star Wars fan. Do you like Star Wars?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Well, you sent me an article about the International
Uh-oh.
Space Station, and it's on
Oh yeah.
SciTech Daily.
Yeah.
And apparently, they were getting ready to board some staff and I think 3 tons of supplies, including food. And they actually had to move the International Space Station to get out of the way of some debris out there.
Yeah. That and yeah. That's crazy. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is some guy going, "Whoa," with a joystick. Whoa, wait a second. And I mean, it was probably like a 2.5 day operation, right? With these little and you know, okay, Houston, we're going to fire rocket number 4. I mean, right? Can you imagine how boring that operation actually was? I mean, you think it's like some exciting thing, like this flaming thing went by, but the important thing is there's debris all over the place up there, right? Somebody's got to start cleaning this stuff up.
Absolutely. There's a ton of debris out there from all the rocket launches and the satellites and all the different things that have happened and parts falling off and so forth. But it reminded me of Han Solo trying to fly Princess Leia home, and the planet had been demolished. And so he flew into an unexpected comet field. You
Oh
remember that?
yeah, the meteor field or
Debris.
whatever it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And is
Yeah.
that where they like landed and they actually landed in the mouth of that huge like thing or whatever it was?
Yes.
No, no,
Yes. That's right. That's
doesn't
the
the
thing.
surface feel a little spongy? They're like walking around on the tongue or something like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Classic scene. That just, I'm sure it wasn't anything like that as far as move left, move right. Let's dodge. It's
Yeah, no, it
probably
wasn't that exciting.
they probably knew 8 hours in advance and moved about 55 feet, or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Now, see, now in my heyday as a avid asteroid player, I could have been on the space station and just zap that thing with my laser pretty
There
easily.
you go. Exactly. Pulverize it. Pulverize
Oh
it
yeah,
to nothing.
no problem, no problem.
Absolutely. And then you and I could have found some space debris in our backyard and gone and sold it for $500,000.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Remember that story? The guy with the rock that came, hit the house, and it bounced like 3 times in the house or whatever. It was worth like a couple $1,000,000. The
Yes.
museum's like, yeah, we'll take it. They're like, yeah, not so fast. I don't know. I
I
don't
think
know.
I need to be paid for this,
I
is
think
what
we might
ended up happening, right?
might go to auction for on this one. I don't know.
Absolutely. That stuff is worth some serious money.
It is.
But yeah, it's really interesting. They had to move out of the way and then, wait and then bore.
So let me ask you this. So if you're like a truck driver and you're like a little paranoid, maybe you're not quite wearing the silver or the tinfoil hats, right? Or anything like
Yeah.
that. But you're really not into the whole ELD and the forward, driver facing cameras and all other kind of stuff. If you use CyberFuel, does that mean you have like a 20% less chance of the space station picking up your methane emissions? Are you
Well,
are you a little bit more camouflaged from that, or is that not the intent? Is that
you
not the intent?
know, we've measured in a lab in California 21.9% reduction in particulate matter coming off of the engine, right?
Oh, well, that's
So it's
particular. That's all
burning,
particulate. That's not just methane, right? That's
right?
everything. I
Yeah,
got you.
it's all particulate matter, right? Yeah. So we could do a study, one of these days on methane. I don't think it's a byproduct of burning diesel. Um, you get
Yeah, no.
NOx and sulfur oxides and
Yeah, the big one in there is NOx. That's the one that hangs around and gets in people's lungs and all that other kind of stuff. Yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah.
Yeah, in fact,
That's
Harvard did a study during COVID nationwide of the number of COVID instances and deaths
yeah.
in areas based on their pollution score.
Yes.
And the occurrences were way higher, of course, in those areas that had a high amount of emissions concentrations, which makes
Which
sense
happen to
because,
be the poor neighborhoods that are all around all the distribution centers and stuff like that. It's insane. Wow. Yeah. Right.
yep, it makes sense. So it definitely, does things to the lungs, to the heart. It's all connected. And so, yeah, you don't want to be hanging around in an extremely high emission zone any longer than you have to be.
Yeah. I don't disagree, but I tell you, in my early days, walking across that line haul yard in Toledo, Ohio, on Hagman Road, and there's literally hundreds of tractors all firing up with their air starters and that diesel pouring out, and the sun's just coming up, and I'm about to hit that outbound break bulk dock. I loved that memory and the smell of
Yeah.
that diesel. And then I'd get onto that dock, and we were running diesel forklifts too.
Absolutely. No, one of the coolest things I've done is I've been on frac spreads multiple times, but there's this thing
Yeah.
called the crow's nest where you can
Okay.
get back. It's a safe zone, right? And you can overlook the top of 14 2,500 horsepower engines all running at one time.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is something to see. That is something.
That's impressive. That is
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, it is.
But
It's a lot of power.
yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Well,
Uh,
hey, get your cyber fuels. They'll still be able to track you from space, or no, they won't because they're tracking methane. So you're already good, right? But
yep.
you're getting 20% average of fuel savings, right? And it depends on how you use your fleet and all that other kind of stuff, right? For that, but on average, we're saving 20% fuels, and you're measuring some significant reduction in particulate matters. That means the engine's burning a lot cleaner, does it not?
It does. And we've actually even measured diesel exhaust fluid, which is a great indicator of what that air coming off that engine is dirtier or cleaner. And we did one in Colorado with 21.95% reduction in diesel exhaust fluid. So,
21.9%. That stuff's not cheap, is it?
No, it's not cheap. It's comparatively to the fuel savings, it's, not that much, but it still adds up when you've got 1,000 trucks. It adds
Well,
up pretty
it's
quick.
still money, dude. I mean, and you got some you still got some operations out there that are running on, single digit operating ratios.
Hmm. Right, right.
And so that they even that DEF is a cost they'd rather not have.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
mean, and that's a point I don't think that is um, clearly made enough. Is you're reducing your emissions or your fuel consumption by 20%, right? What's
Yep,
the net what's the net savings per like unit, right? Because you got to pay for CyberFuels. You're not giving it away for free, right?
that's right.
So after you pay for it, does that kill that 20% savings, or is that 20% savings net after you take out the cost of the fuel? Where does that fall?
So net savings is in the range of 10 to 20%. So take your
There you go.
current fuel bill
Yeah.
and go, if I cut 10% out, what's that worth? If I cut 20% of it out, what's that worth? That's the
Yeah.
number, right? We're hitting an average of 20% fuel reduction. We've got studies all the way up to 30%. But
Yeah.
net, after the cost of the product, 10 to 20% less spend on fuel.
There you go. Because, that's how I think is, okay. They're just telling me 20% less consumption but my fuel bill now is going to be like double. So I'm greener. I'm greener, but I'm out of business. That ain't the case. Beautiful.
No, it's
I just
not.
wanted to get that point out there, Andy. I think it's important because there are people that are skeptics like me. Obviously, there are.
Absolutely. It's healthy to have a level of skepticism. It really is. But what we've been doing is lab studies and client case studies, capturing data and then presenting that, and it's not us saying it, it's actual data coming off the engines. And, we use in our pilot, we do a
I
fuel and
got
odometer log, right?
okay.
What did you do for a baseline? What was your fuel and odometer for 15 days? Okay. So we got a baseline. Now then, what happens with CyberFuels added? And then we measure that, right? So you compare a baseline with 30 to 45 days of driving with the treatment so it can clean the engine out, lubricate the engine, do all the effects. And then you get your end result, right? And we present that to the clients and it's their data. It's not me saying, "Oh, I pulled this one data point from, the middle of the night where you were going down a hill in Colorado." No, it's days and days and days and weeks of data.
It's not the Nikola in motion.
Yeah, let's capture it when he's going down the Appalachian, and then and let's report that. No, it's literally 15 days of baseline and then 30 to 45 days of driving that truck and compare the two, and then what was it, right? So
Awesome. That is
yeah.
beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. That
Yeah.
is yeah, that I mean that is when you have that type of stuff and you have all these data points, my point is this. You are you responsible if you don't at least check it out? I don't know. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
mean, it
I
doesn't.
know. There is and I get it because there's been many things tried over the years, right?
Sure.
Let's try this additive. Let's try that thing. And, typical results are like 1 to 3% kind of range. And we're saying 20% and we're proving it. So there is a lot of skepticism. Like, I
Okay,
can't believe it.
so answer me this. Okay, 1 to 3% can be big, especially when you're talking about a legacy big enterprise fleet. One to
Right,
that is not a small number to take off your fuel bill, right?
right, right.
I mean, even okay, you could argue that 1 to 2% is even bigger for a single operator because that's still $20 is some cash. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I mean, that's a few roller dogs in a slushy right there,
Yes, it is. Right.
and a
Absolutely.
shower.
Or a couple of foot long Subways sandwiches and a
Yeah,
nice.
exactly. No, I mean, we make fun of the roller dogs and stuff like that, but it's a meal, dude, and that's not cheap.
No.
There's nothing to sneeze at. So, why wouldn't you just do that? Is there disruption enough? Is your time not worth it to do it? I mean, what's the disruption to your normal operations in order to utilize this product? Is that something that would people go, yeah, okay, I see that, but dude, now I got to change all of this crap? Is that a
Well,
legitimate concern?
it is. Their concern is I'm going to spend time on this and it's not going to prove out. So, what we're doing, Michael,
Yeah.
is a money back guarantee.
Okay.
So, yep. So,
Then give me three. I'll take three then.
guaranteed at least 10% fuel economy improvement minimum, right? We're averaging 20, but we're guaranteeing at least 10, which is a money savings.
Wow.
But yeah, we're doing that just to help more fleets get over the hump, and try it and use it and so forth. And that's what we've decided to do, and that's what we're doing now. So
Wow. Money back guarantee.
yes, sir. Yep. So there's
Dang.
really, really no risk whatsoever. We're just taking that. Well, I could spend the money and I could spend the time with my maintenance person and the driver, but it could be for nothing, right? So we're saying we guarantee it, right? Money back guarantee on our pilot. So yeah, we're just trying to lower that risk bar and raise the reward
Oh, that's
bar.
great. That's
Yeah,
great because I mean that's where people are. Those are the objections that people come to, and as you know, if you're going to sell it, you got to do that. And when you got an important product like this, it's frustrating to come across those traditional, blocks that come up and try and think through all your old bogey techniques and all the other thing like that to try and get over it because the product actually works, right? And so yeah, you got to put your money where your mouth is, and CyberFuels is doing it. That's pretty cool, man. I like that.
very cool. Yeah, absolutely. Our company, Trucking Tower, can get you set up with a 3-truck pilot. Michael's got a special link down there. Click,
I don't know why
and
you don't click it. You should click it right now. Is what they should do.
yeah, just click it. It's a
Just
money
go ahead and
saver.
click it right now because all he's going to do is say goodbye. We'll see you next time. So you might as well just go click it right this second.
Just click it right now, and we will we'll get you underway and get you some money savings, right?
Right on.
Yeah,
I love it.
absolutely. Well, this is fun. I love talking space anytime. And this is very cool. There's a lot of fun things going on in the world of sustainability. And I love talking with you on these sustainability topics, Michael.
Absolutely, dude. And remember, the naked mole rat lives 10 times longer than a regular mouse. Next time you're on Jeopardy, this could come in handy. So you need to
Good.
keep that in mind.
That's right.
Right on.
Jeopardy or Who Wants to Be a Millionaire could make you
That's
some
right.
money.
Do not be the weakest link.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for coming on, Michael.
Right on. Peace and love.
All right. Well, that'll do it for the show this week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you again soon. Take care.